Hello, welcome. We are playing the lovely Somnolent, a rooted in trophy game, my creation, and essentially this is a play test. Okay, so I thank all my players for joining me this morning, or afternoon, wherever they are, and basically, being patient with me as I run this play test of this thing that I wrote. Yay. Um, I'm Mads, she, they pronouns. I have played and run quite a bit of trophy, dark and gold, and I really love the system as well as the vibes that I get from the game. And this is based on the Tale of Sleeping Beauty. So we'll see how close I adhere to it or how far we go with it. It's fine. Um, and again, I thank all my players for joining me on this wonderful journey, and I'm going to popcorn it over to Sabine.
Hello, I'm Sabine. I use any pronouns and I have played trophy before. I have also written a trophy thing, and but it's been a while. It's been a while. You might have to remind me what I can do with the dice. So yeah, and I'll popcorn it over to Casey.
Hello, Casey. I use he, him pronouns and never played or read Trophy, so like super stoked to check it out today. Yeah,
Okay.
Will.
Yay, Trophy Newbies Unite! My name is Will, pronouns he, him. This is also my first game of Trophy anything.
Okay. All right. Oh boy. Okay. Well, again, I'm just hoping that you have a good time while while you're in the incursion, and we'll see how this goes. Uh, Rules will be taught in play. No worries. I mean, like review, obviously. But we're just gonna go through a round of cats, so this way we set the expectations on the table and set it up for the gameplay. This is a game that is run under the shared Hearth event, um, s- uh, put on by the Open Hearth gaming community for the shared Hearth Open Gaming Weekend, and we are following the Open Hearth Code of Conduct, which is available on their website, openhearthgaming.com. And if you'd like to, if you're watching this and you'd like to find out more about it, about the Open Hearth community, please go on their website. Like plenty of online resources, gaming resources, and yeah, we're a bunch of people that love to play games. So join us. All right. With that, let's get to business. We are playing the lovely Somnolent, loosely based on the legend of the story of Sleeping Beauty, and the game itself, the game system itself, Trophy. Uh, the concept for Trophy is, excuse me, it's a role-playing game about a group of doomed treasure hunters entering the haunted spaces of the world. The game itself tells a story of the treasure hunters' physical and mental descent as they move deeper and deeper into the incursion. Their journey ultimately brings them to ancient ruins that hold the treasure they seek and the monstrous entities that may dwell there. This is not a hopeful story of brave and daring adventurers who slay dragons and drag bags of gold back with them. This is a horror story of entitled pillagers meeting tragic ends. Your aim as players will be to play these treasure hunters motivated by a near impossible goal to seek out riches in the forgotten places of the world. You are not heroes, but entitled or desperate pillagers there to secure your wants and needs. The treasure hunters are doomed, and they probably won't achieve their goal, but instead they are very likely to die by the end of the game, and watching how they go out is part of the fun. Tone. The tone of Trophy Dark is desperate and often tragic. You will likely encounter conflict or tension between the treasure hunters, where characters are encouraged to backstab or betray their companions in pursuit of their goal. Subject matter. The game will be R-rated. Your treasure hunters are risk takers willing to make dangerous choices. The game will likely be violent, terrifying, and include scenes of bodily horror and loss of self-control. I will add my incursion pretty much has like shifting reality, delving into past or perceived delusions of past splendor. So there will be a lot of things that you may not be able to trust what you see. Gameplay. This game is highly collaborative and improvisational. Players have a lot of say over the world itself and can introduce story elements that no one, not even the GM, was expecting, and play moves between the fiction and the metagame frequently. The game runs best when everyone feels comfortable offering up their ideas. It uses six-sided dice of two colors, light and dark, to determine the outcome of risky actions. Okay? Given that, because of the collaborative element of this, we want to make sure that everyone feels safe. Okay, and so we do have safety tools that are available to us. One is the X card. So if something comes up that's objectionable in an unfun way, please, like, make an X in the video, say X card right off the bat, do X in the chat, and we will stop play, find out what needs to be X carded, and we will take it out and then move on from there. Okay, we will never ask you why something needs to be X carded. Okay, but just a clarification on what. All right. There's also bouncing off of that, there's also script change. So if somebody calls X card, or you can even say pause, because if it seems like there's something that we're approaching that may be a little bit, let's check in, then we would just pause the game and again do the same thing of just checking in to see what we're pausing on or have to be careful about. And then we could fast forward, which means like we will do no further role play. We'll just go to a different point in time jumping, transitioning. And then we can also rewind. So if we think, ooh, it's like, I don't know about that part, can we rewind and go back to it and like kind of go in a different direction? That's perfectly fine too. There's also the open door policy. So if at any point you decide this is not the game for you, no problem. Go ahead and open door. Just let us know that that you're not coming back. Or if you just need to open door for a few minutes because you're like, ooh, this scene's getting heavy, let me step back a little bit. No problem too. Just say, I need to open door for a minute or until the end of the scene. Just go ahead and say it. Just let us know like when it feels like you're going to be able to return. Okay. And then we have lines and veils. We're using a character keeper online to keep track of the characters, and there's also a safety tab which has the lines and veils. Lines are things that we will not include in the game whatsoever, will not be mentioned, okay? There's also veils, things that could be mentioned, part of a backstory, but they don't need to be role played in any, full detail. It'll be something that we can fade to black on. Okay, and so I ask that if the players have not already done so, to go ahead and go into the safety tab and mark off your lines, your veils. There's also a column for ask first. So this could be something that doesn't necessarily bother you right away, but I mean, like, hey, just check in with me, and like, if we kind of get into that territory, and like, just kind of see if this is okay to do or to say. All right, and then there's interest. Everybody usually marks off body horror. Let me mark off body horror. So, I mean, like, that's like, if there's anything of interest to you, then you can always mark it off. All I ask is that that any of your responses, you do not downgrade somebody's line into a veil or an ask first or anything like that. But this is a living document, so if at any point something that was a ask first or a veil needs to be upgraded into like a line or such, then just again, like, just make sure that I'm aware of it, so this way we can just kind of pause and just double check the document. Okay, so again, just gonna have my players like just work on the whole safety thing, and then we can get on to character creation. As we have some trophy newbies here, it's like, I'm happy to help walk them through the process, even though the character keeper does a fabulous job of doing that, being helpful in that respect. I'm going to pause the recording, and then when we come back, we're going to introduce said characters and then get started on gameplay. All right, so go ahead and do that. Boop. All right, we are back, and we're going to go ahead and introduce our characters in the order that they appear in the character keeper. So Sabine, please introduce us to your character.
Yeah, sure. My character's name is Fion. He, him pronouns. He has a family name, which he won't share with you because I haven't thought of it, really. Also, I should introduce myself, right? I'm Sabine. I use any pronouns. Fion is used to be a champion, like fighting guy, and can do command, ferocity, and presence. And he's also an usurped royal, which means he can also do commands. I'm very good at commanding things because I have it twice. Anyway, my drive is to find the artifact to prove the king's true nature, and maybe marry his daughter. Who knows? That might also get me what I want. What I want is to get back my throne, really. But you know, what I can have the rituals of elegy. I can appear as deceased, which is how I actually got out of the usurpation. And a fountain, a forceful spring of water bursts forth from a location I touch, which I personally believe that is a sign that I am destined to royalty.
Amazing. Ah, beautiful. All right, Will, please introduce us to your character.
Hello, I am Teodan. I am a relative nobody. Pronouns he, him. My character moves with a bit of an uncanny grace that strikes one as not entirely human. And that is correct, because I am an unmasked Feyborn. I was unmasked as a changeling child and driven away from my home and family. My drive is to earn the respect of the governor of Fort Durin, which we can play to find out, but I'm basically treating as find a place in society and make people treat me like a person. I am not a particularly violent character. I've been, in terms of physical violence, I have been long practiced in reading other people and getting a sense of where I am safe and where I am in danger, so as to avoid the latter. So my skills are passion, persuasion, rituals, and illusions. And my rituals are aura, ascertain a creature's emotional state, truthfulness, and true form, and emote, heighten or dampen the current emotions of all in your presence. Most of which I've been using as survival skills.
Nice. Well, hopefully they will out when you get into this particular incursion. So, could be fun. All right. And Casey, please introduce us to your character.
Yeah, I'll be playing Vero, he, him. And Vero is a blacksmith by occupation, so picks up the skills endurance, metal, and weapons. And his background is as an opportunistic grave robber, which gives him the skill death. My drive is to find the resting ground of the morning night. I think it's hard to shake that background. There's like, if there's an epic grave to be robbed, then it should be robbed. And the only ritual I chose was Crucible, which is to heat a metallic object to melting, because not only does it sound fitting, it sounds awesome.
Right. Okay. Awesome. So, Trophy Dark is run with a phasic structure, a ring structure. So there are 5 rings, and your characters will be taken through each of the rings in turn, and we will see how far they descend as they traverse the landscape. Okay. So with that, we are going to be introduced to or into the lovely Somnolent. Prologue. The call has gone out to commoner and noble alike. The king has escaped to a nearby land, his castle overrun and overgrown with the thorns and brambles of a dark undergrowth, his people set in stone or rendered invisible. Save my daughter, he entreats. She is asleep, stricken by a foul curse. Only by true love's kiss will she awaken, and the blight be dispelled from the land. It has been low 10 years. He extols her virtues, or those that he remembers. And if there are riches and wealth within those walls that you come across, then by all means, let it spur you to greater glory when you awaken the princess, earn her love, and claim a kingdom. However, if you fail or become lost to the environs of the cursed land, You will join the people in their forever vigilance amongst the dark shadows of these twisted briars. To that, we will see an opening scene. A castle. In the distance, you see crumbling battlements, rocky terrain. Broken statues are rumored to be here. The only way to tell between actual sculpture and the subjects turned to stone from the curse are the expressions on their faces, the terror, the gaping mouths of silent screams, the wide, unseeing eyes. One wonders what they saw before being turned. There is also the rumors of those that are still serving here. They escaped the fate of those frozen in time, but perhaps their calling is much worse. Unseen, unable to be touched or be heard, and yet their presence is felt in these rubbled halls. Some of the finery, the resplendence, still exists, and they live to keep the spirit of the opulence going. As you find yourself on the path towards this distant castle, perhaps you have come together in mutual companionship for this journey. Each of you have a relationship of sorts with the princess. Who among you knew her as your future monarch? Who among you was her bodyguard? Who among you was her childhood playmate?
I think I was her childhood playmate, and maybe even betrothed, as you betroth children of royalty when they're very young. But I don't really remember that time. We were both 4 or 5 when I was usurped and she was then the princess. So, yeah, well.
Well, I ask you this, childhood playmate. What did you do to make her fear you, but still come back for your company?
I think what I did to make her fear me and still come back for my company, I made up these weird games that usually took a turn to the gruesome. Right, we start out playing knights, and then suddenly there was this. I told her, "There's this giant spider, and it's bitten you now. You're poisoned. You're gonna die a horrible death." And I scared her, and then she ran away. But she liked the stories. She liked the stories.
Who knew her as their future monarch? Who knew her as her bodyguard?
I was to serve in her court, not as a bodyguard, but as a page.
Ah. Teodan, what did you do that put you specifically in her favor?
I think I found her distraught at one point, and I understood in that moment that she needed emotional space, but she needed to save face as well. And so I withdrew to the other side of a wall, and I sang light breezy tunes to myself until her crying stopped. And she didn't address it with me, but we both understood. We both understood the nature of the kindness.
And Vero, you were her bodyguard. You were her bodyguard. Why did she send you away the night the curse fell? 10 years ago.
To me, it was against. I think it was against her will. My opinion was that someone else was like scheming against me and lied to her to get her to tell me to leave.
Do you know or do you suspect who that is?
Yeah, I suspect it's the king or her father.
You all think on these things as you make the approach to the final road to the overgrown lands by the castle. And then, as you do, you are not on the road yet, but you see the dim glow of a campfire away from the main ruts of the road. We enter Ring 1, the page. You recognize the group around the fire. It is a rival band of adventurers. Maybe you know them individually, maybe you know them as a group. But whatever they are doing here, they are currently menacing a young man in tattered clothing too small for his frail frame, who bears the marks of briar scratches and dried blood on the exposed parts of his body. You catch the words, "Maybe your lofty king be paying a pretty price for your head, seeing as you escaped the cursed castle." And you see him bring out a cudgel and prod the young man. What do you do? What do you all do? Seeing this. This group has not seen you yet. You have been approaching on foot and quietly.
Well, since this guy seems to have come from the castle, might be a misapprehension, who knows? You know what? Whatever. I'll go up and yeah, I go up and say, hey, what's this then? What's going on? What are you doing?
The leader, the one who was, menacing the young man, will turn to you and say, "Ah, oi, what businesses is of yours? Come to try and raid the castle too, do a little scavenging there?"
Yeah, I am, actually.
Maybe we're gonna get there first. Get a little
He
information
won't.
about this one.
I mean, I'm totally willing to let you go first. But I want the information that this young man can provide. And also, I don't like bullying. So I'd say, you know what? He talks, and then you go ahead, be the first. That's fine by me. You won't make it anyway.
He will start to smack his cudgel into his other palm. What do you mean by that, friend?
Oh, nothing. I'd just say, just think a cudgel is pretty worthless against thorns. But you know what? You do you. You said you want to go in? Sure, risk it.
And what do the others do as Fion like rocks up and starts challenging the leader of this group. What do
Is
you two do?
this night? Is there a campfire?
Yeah, it's nighttime. It's a campfire. You can still see uh the ruts of the road of the main road, um, and like maybe overhead there's like it's like still kind of like a blue darkness, so like still able to be seen. Like there's maybe like like dim moonlight, so you're able to see certain things. But you, as far as I know, like you two are still kind of like in the woods, you know, not seen yet. What would you like to do?
I think I'm
There's
going.
three others. There's three others with this one guy.
I think I'm going to step closer into the firelight, and I have a hood up over my my head,
Mhm.
so my face is not entirely visible.
Okay.
And I'm going to say, well, you gentlemen look like fine individuals and solid practitioners of the craft of warfare. Please feel free to progress. I'm sure it will be fascinating to watch your progress. And I'm going to step so that the light of the fire catches my face in an odd, almost animalistic way. I'm trying to convey to them, we are part of the forest and we're going to watch you die here, and try and spook them.
Interesting.
Like
Okay.
maybe the light catches the glint of my teeth or something,
Mhm,
or something
mhm.
like that. Like I'm trying to stand in such a way as to be quietly menacing while
Okay.
outwardly polite.
Oh, okay. Okay. I mean, like it's for everybody, it's pretty risky. Uh, but let me find out what Vero's gonna do first before I call out any rolls.
I think Vero is. I think Vero's going to hang back a second. Like if these two are pulling all of the attention, and this is going to go sideways, the element of surprise might help. So
Okay.
I think Vero is just hanging on the edge of the shadow, or where we came from in the woods, like just for a minute, feeling it
Okay.
out.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna say since Teodan is like trying to appear menacing and intimidating, I'm gonna give you the risk roll. I mean, like Fion's just like, yeah, sure, go for it. But Teodan's like deliberately trying to make this a little bit more sketchy. So we're gonna go. I'm gonna turn to the reference sheet and start a risk roll. Before trying something risky, what would go wrong? So I'm going to ask. Fion, what do you think could go wrong if uh, Teodan like fails or lose their nerve?
Um, I think what could go wrong is that these guys would immediately think they might think we're a threat, and they might push for a bit of violence here.
Sure. Okay. Fair. Alrighty. So now you're going to gather your dice. Okay. Take a light die if the task you're skilled at is something that you can do because of your occupation or background, like those skills associated with them, or if you have useful equipment. You know.
Unmasked Favorn, persuasion, illusions.
Perfect. Okay. And even if you have multiple skills that apply, you only still get the one die. Okay.
Mhm.
Then your dark die is risking your body because they're gonna probably try to beat you up.
Mhm.
And Fion probably too, but this is your role. Okay.
I mean, this is pulling aggro. I
This is
agree. This
yeah.
could go badly.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Okay. And so just have your trophy dice roller ready and available because like we're building this roll. Um, and then we're gonna have a second light die to increase your odds of success by accepting a devil's bargain from another player or me. So basically, devil's bargains are things that happen regardless of role, no matter what. We usually preface offering a devil's bargain as no matter what, something will happen. Okay. It could be towards your drive. It could be something as ridiculous as like, well, you lose a weapon or you lose something. Or it could be something like even more serious about, well, Hmm. Would this get back to the governor of Fort Doran maybe in a very bad light? Maybe this is
Um,
his idiot son, but that's my devil's bargain. Yeah. So no matter what, I think the outcome of this will go back to the governor of Fort Doran, and he's not going to be happy that you went against his son.
I think that if I save the princess and her court, whatever this fool babbles about to his father will not matter in the slightest. So I will accept that bargain.
Okay. Well, I mean, like, let me just ask Casey, do you have a devil's bargain that you'd like to offer first? Give you choices,
No, I don't think so.
Okay. All right, fair. All right, so if you want to take that, then you get 2 light, 1 dark to roll on the dice roller. Okay, under risk.
Okay. Risk. 2 light, 1 dark.
Yes.
And rolling. All right.
Okay,
My
so
highest die is a 5 light.
5 light, yes. So if the light is highest, it will usually offer you an option to add another dark die to re-roll to get a better result. Really, the best result is 6, obviously, for a full success. If you get 4 to 5, it's a success with a complication. Okay? So if you're willing to accept that, perfectly fine. But you could also risk it for a biscuit and roll 2 light, 2 dark.
I think the day is young and complications are delicious.
Okay, perfect. All right, so that's fine. All right, so you do succeed. And tell me what this looks like. Okay, so I'm giving you the narrative control to tell me the picture. Like, what do they see? What does the governor's son and the other 3 see when you're, doing this intimidating like setup between the firelight and the darkness and all that?
I think that there is clearly a trap in my words, and the governor's son is first trying to suss out whether I'm just simply mocking him or or engaging in backhanded compliments in the form of praise. And then the firelight catches my teeth, and there's a moment where he feels like he's staring into, it's as if he's staring into the eyes of a predator, and there's this animalistic wait, I'm in danger that hits his lizard brain and gives him pause.
He pauses in mid slap of his cudgel, and like maybe one of the other ones kind of slowly but quietly like whispers something into his ear, looking at you still, and then he kind of like just snorts and says, "You're not worthy of mucking up my boot, little man. Just know that we will be trying to get to the castle first, but Loras here will be able to race to my father and let him know that one of his constituents is being more than a little rowdy. Try and show your face at Fort Doran then." And
yes, go and hide behind your father. That is surely a winner's strategy. Now go. You wanted to be the first, so go. Or we will.
And he scoffs, and then he starts his party, but then he will jut his chin over at the one labeled Loris, and Loris like goes off in a different direction as if to go back to Fort Doran. So now
we're keeping the guy.
We stripped one off them.
We're keeping the guy, right, who he was menacing.
Yes.
Cool.
I mean, like, basically, he's actually sidled behind you, Fion, without the others really thinking about it, and so he's just kind of like cowering behind you, and they've all like all their attention was shifted to Teodan. So I mean, like, you had the heat off you, which was good, but yeah, so Loris goes off, and then your condition, Teodan, is not most wanted. What do I want to say? Oh, what is it?
In
Person of
disgrace?
what?
In disgrace or something like that?
No, like let's just say person of interest at the fort. That'll be your condition. And I just want to say that conditions don't have a necessarily mechanical um, effect on your rolling. What it has is a flavor effect that you can use, like you can bring back and call back to at any point during the journey. And again, like just let it flavor your role play. Okay. Um, so that is your complication. It's like, when you get back to Fort Dern, it's like they're gonna know about you. All right. Okay. So yeah, you now have chased them away essentially, like, forwarded them on. Vero, do you come out of the forest now?
Yeah, definitely.
It's
Yeah.
always a good thing to have a blacksmith sitting in the bushes with his hammer. Right?
Well, that's what I thought. Glad you were able to handle it without incident, though.
A castle would eat them,
Hopefully.
with the exception of Loris, I guess. I think he owes you his life, basically, Teodan.
Teodan will smirk at that. Maybe that will occur to him on the long trek back home.
Mm. Speaking of owing their life, I turn to the person that was cowering behind me.
Yes.
Who are
He's
you?
he's crouched behind you, and I think Vero, you would actually recognize his livery. Well, what remains of it, right? I mean, like it's this is tatters of clothing that looks like he's way outgrown, but it's been 10 years. And he will say, "Thank you. Thank you. My name is Odin. I I remember being in the castle. I was a page. Water. Do you have water?"
I will crouch down before Odin and offer him some of my canteen.
And he drinks deep, unfortunately. I mean, like, this kid looks like he's, skin and bones. Oh, yes. I thank you so much. I And like he just like stops and then looks at you with like these wide eyes. I mean, this was essentially a kid
Mhm.
when he was trapped in the castle. So, um, yeah. Ask him whatever you like.
How did you get out?
When he gets himself a little bit more composed. I, I, I don't know. I remember waking and looking around and then seeing the housekeeper, Mrs. Carr. She was stone, and she was frozen there, and I touched her, and then I ran. I ran for the castle, and I crossed the bridge. The bridge is so dangerous, and I ended up in the forest, and they caught me, and I thank you. And
What's
God,
dangerous about the bridge? Sorry.
no problem. Because like as you ask that, like his eyes start to roll back into his head, but it's not like he's going unconscious. It's almost like he's channeling something.
Maybe.
And he says to you, like not seeing any of you, but just saying it. Be careful of the moat. It steals people on the way to the castle. And then his eyes roll back down. And then he will like still clutch at your canteen, Teodan, and just kind of like kind of hold it like as like a lifeline as he's like, just trying to regain his strength.
How long has it been since you woke up? Have you eaten?
His eyes roll back out into his head, and then he just kind of raises his head and stares at nothing while he says, "Eat nothing at the feast. There is nothing of value for you there." And his eyes roll back down, and again he's clutching at the canteen as if you have not spoken, or he's not spoken.
Mm-hmm. I think my eyes flick up to Vero at that.
Vero, do you have a question or?
Yeah. Can you show us where you came from? Like, can you show us back in?
He just immediately, his eyes go wide, and then you see the child behind those eyes. You know, he's still that little kid that was the page, and you essentially see like a young adult in front of you, right?
Right.
And so he's just like, no, I can't. If I go back, I might change. I might become like Mrs. Carr and the others. I can't. May I have a jacket or a scarf, something, and I will be on my way. I will not bother you further. Please.
Yeah, I'll take off my coat and like, set it around his shoulders for sure.
As you do that, his eyes roll back into his head and he stares, unseeing, into your face as he says in tones, "A great beast roams the halls. Beware." And his eyes roll back into his head, and he will shudder in your coat. Say, "Thank you. I really appreciate this.
It is.
I wish you luck."
That is very gracious of you. If, as we pass into the castle, there is some kindness that you would like us to consider, I will be happy to keep it in mind. Anyone, anything you wish to see safe.
I think it's too much to hope for, but if you see Mrs. Carr, her statue will be in the Great Hall. Just tell her I hope she gets out soon too. I hope one of you will be able to wake the princess. Thank you for your kindness. And he will, if you have nothing further to ask or add, then he will take his leave of you as he enters the forest.
His name, Odin, right?
Odin,
Okay.
yes.
Yeah, okay, Odin the page. Fine.
Yes.
Great. As he goes, when he's out of earshot, I say, I wonder if that was a kindness. The castle's still in him.
Can any of us say that the castle is not in us?
This was never my castle, so
But you are here, are you not? You have business with the princess.
I have business with her father.
As do I.
I think Teodan will sort of give a long, lingering look after the missing page and considers trying to ascertain more about what might be writing along with the page boy, but then decides to respect the privacy of whatever is happening there.
Yeah, he goes to the main road and he follows it along, like he's making like he's going back to, whatever the nearest village or settlement is here. But I think as you all turn away and take your leave and head down the road to the final path to the castle, seeing it become slowly overgrown off to the sides, like the under undergrowth is just like getting more feral and wilder, letting you know that you're getting on the right path. I think the page, Odin, takes a furtive look back at you all, and the camera will see him take 3 steps into the forest and then disappear in a swirl of autumn leaves. And that is the close of Ring 1. All right, we will take our first break. Let's do 11 minutes to get us to the 25 mark. All right, and I'll see you back then. All right. Ring 2, the moat. You find yourselves atop that last hill, overlooking the path leading to the great moat. And beyond that, the briar-choked castle. Thorny vines seem to twist and invade the very wood of the single bridge to its doors. It does not look like sure or sturdy footing. The doors to the castle grounds are high, arched, and firmly closed. There's a large hole in the middle of the bridge. You can't quite see it yet, but you get the impression of it because it just looks black. As it seems the plants have weakened the structure. So that is something that you may have to worry about once you get to that part of the bridge. Any thoughts of the traversal of the drawbridge before you get to the castle?
Any signs of the governor's son?
If you are looking, just like kind of scanning the moat itself, every so often, a body comes to the cloudy surface of the moat, bloated and masticated, and then dragged back down by something. And maybe, just maybe, you get the glint of something on this bloated body. What do you see, Fion, that shows you, hey, that body that drifted up to the surface, that looks like the governor's son? What do you see?
I see that looks like the governor's son. I think he had this cudgel, which probably wouldn't be helpful, but I think he had on his shoulder, he had a pauldron. And into that pauldron was etched the governor's sigil so that people would know not to mess with him. And when this bloated body is kind of washed up a little, you can see the light glint of that pauldron. It could be something else, but it's a fair guess that would be the governor's son. I also like the cat walking in front of the camera. I always love that.
Love it. Hey, me personally, I always think it's requisite cat butt. You need it at least once in a recording, for sure. Okay. Yeah. That's what you see. So I have to ask Vero and Teodan. It's been a long time since you've been here, obviously. What, as you look up at the castle battlements and ruin, or look upon this moat that you've crossed before so long ago, is there anything that you remember that you kind of look upon with nostalgia, even in this briar-choked and muddy moat that reminds you of the castle as it was.
The princess loved her gardens, and her groundskeeping staff had a certain degree of license to improve the general decorative foliage. And what I remember most is just the scent of honeysuckle and other sweet fragrances from the nearby gardens and from the bushes that lined the outer wall.
Maybe you get a little glimpse of that, you know, even in the darkness, even in the moonlight. Like maybe you think you see the hint of the flowers and the lingering scent of something sweet. But then there's also, underneath that scent, the scent of decay. Vero, what do you remember of the castle that you think upon with nostalgia?
I think I'll lean into like the melancholy aspect of nostalgia a bit harder, and I think Pharaoh remembers being escorted out by the guards and looking back, and the the princess was watching from like atop the parapets, and Vero remembers her looking slightly disappointed, a little bit sad, maybe. And so he feels some fondness there, but I think there's also, you know, the bitterness of the prominent memory being escorted out.
I think as you come out of that memory, I think you involuntarily take a look at that window. There's a light that can be seen there, highest in the remaining turret of the castle. It's soft and welcoming. So, you get to the edge of the bridge leading over this moat. I'm also going to say that the bridge is not necessarily completely level because of the twisting and invasion of these plants in its structure. It's like it might be like, you know, partially rubble in places. Again, not sure, not steady footing, and it almost has like a rise and then a fall to it, like it's rubble on itself and twisted. So
Perhaps we should respect the warning we were given in the spirit it was given. That does not look like a particularly friendly hole.
Well, I don't see any other way than to use the bridge because we sure don't want to climb the moat.
Any thoughts? If the bridge is seeking a sacrifice and we want it to be none of us, does anyone have an idea of what could sate it?
I mean, there was the governor's son just 5 minutes ago, and we sent him here. So we can maybe declare that that was our sacrifice to the moat.
It didn't take long, did it?
No, apparently not. But I think the governor's son thought a lot about himself, thought a lot of himself. Maybe he thought he could cross the moat, or I don't know. But we should maybe declare that this is what we've done. So I will stand at the, if nobody minds, we'll stand at the start of the bridge and we'll declare Whoever guards this, know these who came before us, we sent them to you without a warning that we were given. Take them as our sacrifice and let us pass. I'm Fion. I've been here before. Let me in.
I want to say this is a risk roll because you are commanding.
Yes,
um, the
so I
entity
am.
here. Sure, yeah. What do we think? Hold on, let's start from the
Yep.
beginning. What do we think will go wrong if Fion's command, like kind of fails or he loses his nerve?
There's
Uh,
there's an impertinence to declare that you are responsible for someone else's folly. I think there is a hubris that might sour whatever entity is guarding the bridge.
right? Yeah, I think the moat may give you like a backhand slap in some way. I'm not gonna say how yet. We'll figure this out from the dice roll. Okay, gather your dice. Light
Okay.
die if you think it's gonna be something that you
Yeah,
skilled at.
I'm commanding. I'm
Oh
skilled at
yeah,
commanding
for
things.
sure. Absolutely.
I'm
Double down.
I'm also taking a dark die
Mhm.
because I'm risking life on them because we'll cross the bridge, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. You like as you said, you have to because it's the only way to get
Yeah.
into the castle. Sure. And then we get the second light die to increase your odds of success by accepting a devil's bargain.
Offer
Anybody
me a
have a
devil's bargain.
yeah?
Curious
Any
about
devil's
what that
bargain?
would
Well,
be.
remember it is always prefaced with no matter what, so it doesn't matter the outcome of the roll. This will happen. So let me see. Poor Fion.
Maybe the moat will take a pound of flesh, regardless of what happens.
Yeah, maybe you get injured in some way, but I
Mm-hmm.
mean,
Yeah.
I want to say my devil's bargain would be no matter what, you're going to see in maybe one of the windows of the
Mm-hmm.
castle or through like the
Ooh.
ruins of the battlements or something like that, um, something that reminds you that the artifact you're trying to find is here.
Oh, I like that.
What
Yes.
my question to you is before you accept that particular devil's bargain is what do you think the king's true nature is?
I think the king's true nature. Yeah, that's a good question. Um, I
And
think
you're
the
talking about you're
king's.
talking about the princess's father, yeah?
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure.
Okay.
Yeah. I think I believe that, I think the king's true nature is that he's a mannequin. He's a created being.
Oh, okay.
Oh my.
And huh? Yeah. And probably so is his daughter, which is fine, but
Interesting.
yeah.
Okay. Okay. All right. Cool. All right. Anybody else have a devil's bargain they want to offer Fion?
Um,
No
well,
matter what.
you've announced yourself and your intention to cross the bridge,
Mhm.
and you have this childhood relationship with you were the once betrothed of the princess.
Mhm.
There might be some entity in the castle that expects you to fulfill your long abandoned obligations,
Ooh.
or is paying a special attention to your arrival because of the degree to which you are announcing your presence.
I love both of these.
Like
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. So different GMs will do different things. I will say, I am a softie or cruel, I don't know, depending how you look at it. I will say that even though you only get the one extra light die,
Mhm.
you can take all of the devil's bargains, only one of the devil's bargains, or if you take none, then you don't get that second light die. So that is up to you, Sabine. That is up to Fion, like which devil's bargain they want to take or all.
I think I will take Will's because I
Okay.
think it's more juicy because seeing something that I know what I know, right?
Right.
Yeah, I like that. I
Okay.
like that. So
Oh, I
I've
love
got
that.
2 light and 1 dark, and I'm gonna
Yes.
roll.
Yep.
Do you want another die?
I don't want another die because I rolled a 6 on a light die.
Oh, very
Nice.
nice.
Okay. Very cool. It's slow for me. I don't know why. Oh dear. What's going on? Yeah, it is very slow for me. I don't know what happened.
Hmm?
Oh, that's right. That's right. You're not on the dice roller. Duh. Never mind. 6 light. Never mind.
Yeah, that.
Okay.
Yeah, 6 light. I'm sorry. I
No,
used
no, no.
my
I
own.
forgot. I totally forgot.
I showed my
Brain fart.
die. Look, there it
Okay.
is.
Brain
There it
fart.
is. There it
Awesome.
is.
Okay. So you succeed on a 6. Like, tell me. Yeah, you have narrative control. You tell me how this succeeds. Like, what answers you? Or how does it answer you in a way that you know that you can successfully cross this bridge with no repercussions?
I think we see the briar is moving, right? So we see the briar moving, curling, even curling around the bridge's structure,
And within, yeah.
in a way of holding it up.
Nice.
I mean, the hole is still there, and
Right.
the bridge looks, at least for now, safe-ish, as safe as it gets. And Fion will he won't have waited for the briar to obey, because he is royalty, isn't he? So he's just thrown out into the bridge, and while he tries, the briars will wrap around these struts and things and actually lift that up so he can cross. And I hope the others will follow, because that would not be a good idea.
You did the work.
Yeah, I mean,
Amazing. Amazing. Yeah. So as you cross the bridge, you will see again, like, that you can, as you get closer, you see like how the castle walls, like there are, it's like certain places it's crumbling and in ruin, and you can see through into the courtyards and then even through into the castle itself. But you somehow see like the little glints of jewels and valuable metal that seem to be like visible through these recesses. And then maybe if you actually dare to look down, you will see the floating soulless bodies like bobbing up and down from the murky water. And then you will see the faces of those who have dared and failed to cross this bridge properly. And then see certain, maybe, valuables on them, but of course out of reach. And then as you go
and
over... Go ahead.
because I'm an entitled asshole, it won't make me feel very bad.
No, it doesn't. In fact, I think you'll see, Fion, since you're obviously first, the moonlight is gleaming down overhead, and it shows you a vision of the silver castle as it was, reminding you of more prosperous times when you were here. What do you recall from 10 years ago, when this was fine and you were able to, come back and visit with the princess? What do you recall about being the best time spent with her before the betrothal was announced?
I think what I remember was there was always somebody playing an instrument, a flute here, a harp there. Sometimes it was unclear if the instruments were playing themselves or if somebody was playing them, or maybe that was something I made up. I was young when I was here, and sometimes my weird stories can get mixed up a little with what actually happened. But there was always music. I remember that, music and dance, at least for me.
I think that was one of the things that they had said was one of her virtues, was her beautiful singing. Even if it was started by another instrument, by another another person, it's like she would always manage to join in because somehow she knew all the songs. Maybe even you remember seeing a beautiful page boy, or one that was going to be brought up as a page, singing those songs as well. And maybe you look back and see a familiarity there with Teodan. Teodan, are you next on the bridge, or are you hanging in the back?
I will follow. I will follow at Fion's right hand and a pace or two back.
Yeah, so maybe there's a little bit of familiarity there, even though you didn't know. So, just a thought. When you get to the edge of the bridge by the castle doors, you'll see that there's a satchel carelessly tossed down in front of the castle doors, with gleaming silver cups and cutlery spilling from it on the ground.
Does it look like someone tried to escape with it?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. I mean, they're all very valuable looking. I mean, but interestingly enough, they are gleaming as new as if they had been just on the tables inside. No oxidation. Being so close to the moat, you would expect to have some kind of tarnishing. Nope. Gleaming in the moonlight, beautifully silver, sorely tempting. Anybody pick it up, or do you try the door?
I feel like my initial reaction is to just sort of half smirk in disdain of that's too easy.
I mean, if nobody picks it up, I will.
Oh, well, I was going to say, if everyone goes through the door, Vero will take it when no one's looking.
Yeah,
But
no, then you go and take it, please.
Yeah, so maybe Fion is just like too disdainful, and then Teodan's like kind of like, no. Vero picks it up. It's great. That's great. Okay. I think when you do try the door, I think your command has been answered in more ways than one, Fion, because all you need is a light touch as if to push, and the castle doors creak open. We see past your shoulder as if we are viewing from behind. It leads into a cobblestone ruin of a courtyard. You raise your eyes. The highest tower is there, and it's yours, if you can find a way up there. And we now close out of Ring 2. Okay. Ring 3, the Great Hall. You traverse across the courtyard ruin, and you enter, essentially, the Great Hall. The doors have long since fallen, but you smell something incredible as you enter the threshold. You realize it's coming from a wide opening in the side of the castle, leading to the Great Hall. Again, the doors have been long gone, crumbled, or taken down. For a few moments, you see how the hall looked years ago. Marble and gold gleaming, lush tapestries adorning the high walls. There are 2 thrones that sit on the dais at the far end. There's a large circular table laid with the finest feast anyone has ever seen. There are 4 seats here, at cardinal points, but the table is so large you feel as if you could be sitting alone if you take a seat at this table. do you sit down? And at what cardinal point do you sit?
Did someone take a note about what specifically we were told about the food? I believe we were told that there was nothing for us here.
Yeah, I think there was some warning about eating this stuff, and I don't think. I mean, this is clearly a trap. Even I realize that food can't be that well after 10 years, right? That fresh after 10 years. That yeah, no,
But
there's
Fion,
something up.
your favorite dish is here. It smells so enticing. It is in your nostrils. It has been so long since you've had this favorite food of yours. You feel yourself salivate even without thinking about it. But it's there. It's there in front of you. What is this dish?
I think what this dish is, let me just check. We have anything about animals here? No. So it's I think it's kind of a roasted, let's say it's a roasted duck, glazed with honey and adorned with I think a single strawberry at the top of it. It's like it doesn't even belong there. It's just decoration. But that's what I always loved. That was yeah.
It's
You could never
perfectly
get it
made.
again. It's just perfect, right?
You can get it here. It's
Yeah.
perfectly made. It's on a silver platter waiting for you. And you can see it's still the right temperature. It's still hot. And that crust on it from the honey. Oh, you know it's going to be the right texture as well when you bite into
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. It can't be right. This can't be real. But what's the harm,
Do you sit down?
right?
Okay. All right.
I mean, I'll just sit there and look at it and poke it or maybe a little with my finger.
It's real.
Yeah,
It's totally real.
yeah, I guess. Somebody talk me out of this.
I'm going to
The
run.
others,
Maybe I'll
the
just
others
eat,
are.
you know what? You know what? I'll just eat the strawberry.
Starts with the strawberry. Okay.
Yeah.
Teodan, what is
I'm-
this dish that you see and smell enticing you to sit at the table?
There is a picture of a strawberry and vinegar infused shrub. Bright and tart and sweet and desperately refreshing. And the strawberries were picked from the princess's garden.
I think it was her favorite dessert. And you almost can feel the chill, but not so chilled. It's frozen or anything, but almost as if someone has dipped it in a beautiful ice bath or like left it above a mound of ice to keep it fresh and beautiful, and just you can smell the chill. You can taste the sweetness on your tongue even before you put a spoon into it.
I
You
run
sit.
my finger along the table to see if my fingers pick up dust.
No?
And I wonder, I look about the room and I wonder who has set this table, who has put in the effort to assemble this feast for us.
You recall that rumor of the unseen servants. Not everyone has been turned into a statue. There have been some that have fallen to the fate of being forever unseen. And perhaps it is them that have laid this bread out for you all. Do you sit? Do you try it?
I think I run my finger along the edge of the pitcher and I pick up some of the moisture from it.
Cold.
And what cardinal point did you sit at, Fion?
I think I sit I sit not very comfortably, like I'm about to jump up, right? I have shoved this chair back, so I just sit at the edge of it. Cardinal point, I think it's somewhere at the head of one of the table things.
I think it's north.
North. Okay, north.
Yeah,
Yes.
because
Yes.
if they were able
North.
to see you from their particular point, it makes it look as if you are sitting in one of the thrones
Nice.
from where you're
Yes, I love
sitting.
that.
So yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. No. So
What
north.
Okay. What
I
point
think-
are you sitting at, Teodan?
I think unless Vero also sits, I will.
You don't see him.
I don't see Vero. Okay.
You are very focused, hyper focused on this picture of perfectly chilled dessert in front of you.
Mm-hmm.
That is all that takes up your vision and your attention. You don't really notice where the others are.
All right.
If you remember them at all in this moment.
I think I'm going to pour myself a cup, and then I am going to step away from the table and lean against the wall.
What point do you think you are?
West.
Okay. Before I get to you, I will go to Vero. Vero, what point do you sit, and what dish is just so deliciously enticing to your senses?
Yeah, I think. Oh boy.
You
I
have
feel like
east and
there's a
south.
yeah, at the south end of the table there's a there's like a full roast. Uh we'll go with like a deer, right? Like a venison roast or like um yeah. Yeah, and like the guards used to hunt the stags in the woods, right, and bring them back and celebrate with them. So, oh, it's dangerous. It's full of delicious taste and memories.
Yes. I mean, you can almost hear the guards' laughter as you all share this beautifully roasted venison, and its cuts against the grain. You can see how tender it is. Perhaps there's like a little bit of gravy or juice or anything that you remember just being seasoned just right. Do you sit and eat?
Ooh, is like the whole table set? Is there like place set? Or I guess if I'm focused on this, I might not notice.
You might not really notice because like think of it as being again like like the focus right on the
Yeah.
dish that is yours, and then everything else is a blur, but you know it's laden with food, all
Mm,
sorts of food, and you don't see the others, right? Because it's like
right.
it's all blurred, but you do see, if you do look around, you just realize it's like this is how it was. So beautiful, so golden and resplendent.
Yeah, I think Vero sits and sets his own dishes from the dishes that he picked up in the bag when we came in.
Nice.
Sets those down and then like puts food onto it and like pours a whatever into his glass and like sets it there for himself. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm gonna go back around because Fion, as you are debating whether to eat more than the strawberry, and it's still there, still enticing you, that wonderful, delicious, succulent duck. There is a hand.
There's a hand. Oh,
There's a
cool.
hand that will lay on your shoulder. And when you look up, it is the person. Who sits next to you that you remember from home, your home, that gave you the idea that the artifact was here?
Okay, so
That inspired you to follow this quest to the end, no matter what.
I think it was one of my tutors, maybe that nowadays he works as a gravedigger, and he hears a lot of things from people who died, and he was the one who said, "Hey, this castle, there will be this key that you can use to turn on or off these mannequins. If you can find that, then you can turn on the princess. No true love's kiss required. And maybe you can turn off the king, even if you want." And that's who. And he's an older man nowadays. He's heavy set. It's not that heavy set, no. I think. Oh wait, gravediggers always have work, right? He's heavy set, and he used to be scrupulously clean, but nowadays his fingers, nails always have dirt under it, and he has his beard has become white, but he's still kind of strong because grave digging is hard work.
Yeah. He comes and speaks to you in that sonorous voice of his, whatever you remember, and says, "It's here, my boy. It's here. What you are searching for will allow you to gain this kingdom by a simple key. Who needs a kiss, right? It's here. You are on the right track, and you are able to find it."
Fion, have you told us what you are looking for here? And have you told us about what you believe to be true about the king?
I'm not so sure if I've told you about that because people, it's not something. It's kind of like an offense to say something like that, right? And I don't know you all that well. No, I don't think I've been very open about this. I was like, yeah, I want to find treasure, and I have not even said that I wanted to do anything with the princess.
So for all you all know, I mean, like, you all want to awaken the princess, but you all got different drives. This is terrible of me, but I mean, I've been so involved in everybody's story that I totally forgot to add some ruin. So as I've said offline, basically health in trophy is determined by ruin. So once the character reaches 6 ruin, that means they're lost to the environment. Not necessarily dead, but forever changed in some way. And yeah, and currently, anytime that you will, do something, a risky action, like, there's always the possibility of gaining more ruin. But I'm also going to say, when you see things that are strange and odd, that you will also gain ruin as well. So, because you are sitting at this table and it can't be, but it is, this food is real. This place is real, as far as you all know. Everyone make a ruin roll, please. You would just go to the tab, or just roll a die, in your case, Sabine, and
Yeah.
roll ruin.
Yeah. I'm rolling, and I've rolled a 2, so I'm fine.
You're fine. Okay. It's only if your roll is higher than your current ruin that you will gain more. Okay, you're fine. Okay, you're fine, Vero.
Oh, that's brutal.
What did you get?
I rolled a 6.
Ah. Okay. Okay. So, Teodan, tell me, as you, I'm going to you next. As you sit down, a hand goes on your shoulder, and I ask you, who is this that you see here from home, from your past, that, gave you the idea that you could earn the respect of the governor of Fort Doran, and you could make yourself a home there now that you've been unmasked as a fae and can no longer return? Who gave you that idea?
Interesting. I think that this was an old mercenary whom I was serving as a sort of a helpmeet while he was lingering from an illness. So I was serving as his caretaker. And he knew what I was, and he didn't care. And there was something endearing about that. And he had opinions about the nature of people and the nature of, for instance, the governor of Fort Doran, about what people would and would not be willing to accept from me. If you get results, then they won't care. If you give them plausible deniability, their eyes will rest past, will glaze over and head past you. If you give them a reason to not to look the other way, they will gladly do so, because their life is simpler that way. And as a reminder, I am on the west side of the table, but I am leaning against the wall because it's not really my place to sit there.
Oh, I think he draws you back in as you're having that tankard, because he sidles up to you with his own tankard of this drink, this dessert, and he says, "You're on the right track, my boy. Never mind that lout that you ran into earlier. If you get the princess and you earn her love, you will have a kingdom over the governor. Petty Fort Doran, you will be beyond his control. But, I mean, if you really want to keep up good relations with your old home, then what better way than to become a prince consort, right?" And he toasts you with his tankard of this drink. Tell me tell me what you see, sense, or envision in seeing this mentor of yours again that causes you to get a little bit more lost in the environment.
I think that ushers me away from the wall and encourages me to take a seat and waits on me as I waited on him. And it's endearing. And there's a moment where it feels just like wrong, like the world is upside down, but that moment passes. But as I look up at him and he's toasting me, there is an emerald green to his eyes, and his hair is almost matted with leaves and foliage, with little bits of leaves and foliage and vines curling around his brow. And I realize that I am not necessarily being offered a place in this world, but I am being forcibly reminded that I have another heritage, and one in which I might be better, one in which I might be much better received than these squabbling nobles.
Absolutely, absolutely. Vero, so you are hunkering down and you're hearing the laughter. You're smelling this venison and it's so tempting. And if you do start to cut into your slices on your plate and, seeing the delectable gravy, who sits down next to you as a reminder of that time?
Yeah, it's got to be like the head of the guards.
Mm.
I think we were close before I was forced out.
And I think he'll vindicate you. I think he'll say, "Oh, you were so lucky. You weren't here. I suppose in a way we're trapped, but we serve still. And you get to come back and enjoy this with us. It's delicious then, and it's still delicious now. It's good seeing you. And they did you wrong. They did you wrong. I wish I could tell you where the morning night went, but the king still keeps us under God. The gods under God. And we cannot reveal all secrets, as much as I would like to. But you're on the right track. Keep going. If anything, if you get the princess, you have a hold over him that I don't even think he realizes. And I think before they disappear into the ether or the ethereal, for each of these people that you see here, Fion's mentor, tutor, Teodan's old mercenary, and Vero's guard friend, before they disappear into the ethereal, which of the group do they warn you against? Fion, who does your mentor say could be the spoke in your wheel? Or the thorn in your side, as befitting the incursion?
A question for all of us.
Yeah, each one of you would answer. It's like, which of your group are you warned against? Whomever wants to answer first.
Sure. I think I'm warned against the Fae. I think I'm warned against Teodan.
I think I'm warned against Vero, the former guard, who has fled before the event, gotten out strangely, and now is back. Who knows what's going on there?
I am warned against Fion. The mercenary's eyes flick over to her, or over to him, and say, he seeks a power over us that he should not have.
Beautiful. Each of you, as you're finishing up, you look down at your empty plate, suddenly a dry, dusty, desiccated thing. What remains in your glass or on your plate that reminds you of your drive?
I know it. It's the king's sigil, right? It's his and part of the sigil is a key. Like it's not the only thing. I think there is maybe a lion. Yeah, there's a lion with a key, and it's in his mouth. So clearly male lion.
Okay. What remains on your dry, dusty, desiccated plate that reminds you of your drive?
I want to say that the plate that I'm using, that like I've picked up, is clearly that of the morning knights. Like maybe knights had like their own individual like set of goods or whatever, or like plates. What's the word of it? Cutlery, whatever,
The
etc.
setting. The setting.
Yeah. Like their own place setting. Yeah, and so like once I've cleaned the plate, like I can see like whatever insignia of the morning knight, right? It's got to be like the sun rising and something like that.
Nice.
I think the cup that I have been drinking from is an import from abroad, and from whatever region Fort Durin is established in governance over. And I think the filigree of the cup does not necessarily match some of the rest of the decor, because it came from a different origin. It's sort of a mismatched piece. And whoever did the decorative inlay on the outside of the cup incorporated folk symbols of protection against trickery and protection against protection against the supernatural, against supernatural elements. I'm saying like the cup is not made of iron, and the cup is not made of anything that can hurt me, but the cup is inscribed with symbols of protection against the unseen and the fae. And it just feels a little bit like a slap in the face.
The splendor of that long ago time dissolves away, leaving the ruinous crumble before you. The dais is partially collapsed, no chairs, and when you raise your eyes, it reveals the ebony darkness of the night sky, no stars for comfort, as the roof has a gaping hole where the stained glass used to be. A sonorous roar can be heard distantly as we close out of Ring 3. Okay, we're going to take a quick break, 5-minute break, and then we're going to come back and round out with Ring 4 and 5. All right, see you in 5. Ring 4, the Beast. Great golden eyes, golden orange eyes, appear at the hole in the roof. The shape is indistinct with how well it blends into the unforgiving darkness of the sky. Suddenly, bared bone yellow appears as the beast grins with its large, cracked, pointy teeth, and it leaps. It leaps down to crash into the great hall below. It is immense. It is bigger than the bears seen in the forest, but impossibly lithe and sinewy, claws unsheathing. The head is of a boar with a shaggy scruff and sharp tusks. A golden chain hangs from its neck with an inscribed crystal pendant swinging from it. It lands in a crouch, scenting hard for those that have dared cross into its territory. Run. To face this beast means instant death. And that is how out of character, that is how Trophy Dark works. If you face the monstrosity, if you try to directly, combat it, your character dies. Instant death. So your choices are to do something risky to get the hell away and hide, or just run to where you think you can go, basically. I will say that the beast will give chase to anyone running away, but the halls are vast. You have a chance to hide and avoid pursuit. Okay? So, what would you like to do?
I would like to try out my ritual.
Uh-huh. Which one?
Because I know I can, the fountain, forceful spring of water bursts forth from location. And I imagine that if I do it here on this table, then the table will explode outward and will create a distraction. Also, the water might hide our scent, or my scent. I mean, hopefully the other guys too, of course.
Of course.
I mean, maybe not Vero. He's weird, but I can't really target it, and
No, you're good.
I feel confident that I can take this old grave robber.
Okay.
If necessary. I mean, rather him than the beast, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
risk roll, of course.
Yeah, of course.
Automatically because you're doing a ritual, all right?
Yep.
So you get that dark die automatically.
Yep.
I'm just going to say that there's the big risk of everything going to shit, and when you do it, you're all going to get separated, period.
Yep.
Okay?
Yep.
And gathering your dice, so light die if this is something that you are skilled at because of your occupation or background or the equipment.
I think I'm skilled at precision, and that
Sure.
might come into play here, right? So
Nice.
I will take a
Okay.
light die for that. Do I take two dark dice? One for ritual and one for the fact that it's inherently dangerous.
No, you get more than one dark die once we get into contest rolls, which will be hilarious later. So we'll save it for then. Okay. So
Okay.
one light die,
Okay.
one dark die right now. That second light die is for accepting a devil's bargain. What do we got? Let's see. What do we got?
Would be the fact that we will be separated. Would that be a devil's bargain, or
That
is
would be the
that...
easiest devil's bargain that I would give,
Okay.
right? Because I mean,
Okay.
this is
Yeah,
the
okay.
big beast crashing down amongst you all.
It's fine.
It's like,
Yeah.
all right.
Um,
Anybody else have anything that they want to offer? Because if not, it'll be like, y'all get separated. That's fine.
No, I'm in for that. That sounds interesting enough. So
Solid chaos option there.
Solid chaos. All right. 2 light, 1 dark, please. Tell me what you get.
Let's see how that goes. Oh, wow. I've rolled a 1/6 on the light and a 6 on the dark die.
Ooh, nice.
Do I take ruin?
Yes,
Because
you
the
definitely
6
take
was the
ruin.
highest, yes.
So the way it works is that in any case of a tie, the dark die runs high, and because the dark die was higher than Fion's current ruin, his ruin goes up. Okay.
Yeah.
So you succeed. You okay, so explain to me how you do your ritual to get the water to burst and essentially distract / dissuade the creature from getting at you, okay?
Mhm.
But then also like, how you fall into ruin, like sensing, envisioning, getting lost further into the environment, and then you all will get separated, right?
Mhm.
Go your
Okay, so
separate
what
ways.
first thing that happens is that I lay my hand on the table
Mhm.
and I say in the name and I say my family name, which I should have thought before. I think it's Penhaligon. In the name of the blood of Penhaligon, waters of the castle, heed my call. Come and attend me. And then these waters burst forth from the ground, right? And it's a huge splash. I think the beastie kind of shies away instinctively, like, "Ooh, what's this?" For a minute, and that gives us the chance to just run off, like really fast. And what I feel though, I see. Maybe it's fake, but I see as if it's tinged by blood, by the blood of the Penhaligon, because my people, some of them are dead. So, and I hear some sort of cry for vengeance or just memory. It's hard to say. I almost hesitate, but I have to run from the beast, right? Because me
Yeah,
dying here would not be very useful to anyone.
right. I'm gonna say I'm going to hmm, I'm going to do something, and then this will be part of your a condition. Even though you succeeded well, what you hear is going to like perhaps push you a little bit more. Um, the beast roars, and is again shying away from the water. It's like it almost got it like full in the face. So I mean, like it's turning away and like blinded by all the water and such. But I'm gonna say that you probably even got some of the moat to burst up out of the ground as well. So some of them bodies is like, bursting out of the ground as well. But you hear the beast as it's like, trying to shake its scruff and trying to regain its sight and smell. You hear it snorting and panting, and it mutters, "No, no, no, no. She's promised to me. Me. We were betrothed. I will awaken her. I will be her true love." How do you feel about that, Fion?
Okay. How do I feel about that? I mean, I'm betrothed to her, and now she's betrothed to her too. That like I'm mad at the king for his double dealings. I also pity this beast at least a little because I mean that couldn't have been what they wanted to be, right? So I feel almost a sort of kinship because I wasn't asked before I was betrothed. Maybe he wasn't asked too either. They
Ruin. Please make a ruin roll.
cool. I'll make a ruin roll. There. Won't give me. It's a 4. So
If
on
it
a ruin
matches, I don't
roll,
I don't
if
say
it
your
not.
ruin is I don't
Okay.
say your ruin's
Okay.
going up.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
only
If
if the
it's
dark die
higher.
is higher than your
Yep.
current ruin. Okay?
Okay.
Cool, cool,
Okay.
cool.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. So, I think as you two as
Do
Vero
I
and
get a condition? Sorry.
yes, yes. I think hmm, it'll either be cries of the people for hearing all the dead bodies,
Hmm.
basically in
Hmm.
protest, or it will be rival betrothed. Which one do you
Rival
like better?
betrothed. I love that. I will
Yeah,
take that.
yeah. Whichever you're pissed off about more. Yeah. Okay. Cool. All right. So for Teodan and Vero, it's like Fion has created this humongous distraction, but you're seeing these dead bodies from the moat bursting out of the hole in the middle of the Great Hall, and you're able to get away as the beast tries to regain its its footing and its scenting of everyone. You know, do you run? Do you hide? What do you do? You see the staircases. You see the the rooms, the hallways, like all around here.
I find a side passage into sort of the servants' quarters into like sort of servants' tunnels between the kitchen and the great hall.
Mhm.
Somewhere that is intended to sort of provide easy access to the great hall, but not be immediately obvious from there. And I start. I put I curl up into a dark corner, hoping to be unknown. I curl up into a dark corner and pitching my voice so that my voice echoes in the acoustics of the room, but does not necessarily pin down my location.
Mhm.
I start singing a song of one of those ballads of courtly romance. Something that would be a pleasant diversion to pass an evening, not necessarily a lullaby, but a song of celebration. And in my voice, I push all of my intent into returning this situation to normalcy. So I am using the song as a vector for my ritual emote, dampen the current emotions of all in your presence.
Okay.
I am trying to communicate to the beast, you are in control here. All is well. You won. Enjoy the moment. Go sleep it off somewhere else.
So you're trying to lull it into a stupor slash like
Yeah, I'm not
Okay.
trying to. Yeah, I'm not trying to
Calm it down.
Sing it to sleep, but I am trying
Calm.
to. Yeah, I'm trying to calm it down.
Okay, all right, fair. Okay, so you automatically get that dark die for the risk roll because you're trying to do a ritual because it's inherently dangerous in this universe.
Yes.
What could go wrong? Let's see. You can tampen down everybody's emotion, basically, in this moment that maybe everybody else is like, I don't know why I'm like into inertia right now and I don't want to do anything, and yeah, it could be a bad effect for everyone, I'll say.
I'm also both trying to hide and sing, and these are not necessarily functionally compatible plans.
Yeah, exactly. So you could definitely be found for sure. Okay. Now, dark die already. Light die if this is something you are skilled at because of your occupation or background.
Passion, persuasion.
Perfect. You only get the one light die because of even if the skill stack, okay?
Yes.
Second light die for that no matter what. What kind of devil's bargain do we want to offer, Teodan?
I don't know, maybe the beast becomes interested in that song and kind of echoes it. I'd start following him around, even if it works. If it doesn't work, well,
Yeah, no matter what, the beast is gonna follow you. Oh man. That was something very similar to what I was gonna offer as well. Um oh, I think no matter what, and you can tell me if this is weird, but I think when you calm the beast down, I think you're gonna calm him all the way down. And realize that, you get a glimpse of who it used to be before it was the beast.
I like that. That almost ties into what I would do after. That was an alternate thing I was thinking of doing. So I mean, I feel like that's a freebie.
Okay.
Um,
So either the beast follows you around, or you get a glimpse of the beast's old form, or both if you want. You only still get the
both,
second light die. Okay,
both,
okay,
because yeah, I think both.
cool.
I think learning the nature of the beast is something I would seek anyway.
Yeah.
And so I think tempering that with I am empathizing with the beast. The beast is taking an interest in me. I'm going to be difficult to extricate myself from the situation.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Okay. So go ahead and roll 2 light, 1 dark on the risk roll, please.
Okay. That was odd. Oh, is a 6 on the white die?
Yes, you succeed, no complications, and
Oh, I'm misreading the thing. Okay, yeah.
and because it's a 6 on the light, you do not raise any ruin because your ruin is not is not um lower than the dark die that showed up, which is a 3. Okay, so you're good in the ruin part. Tell me what this looks like as you are making your song, but then the beast comes upon you, and yeah.
I think I am singing to try and calm my own emotions as much as I'm trying to calm the beast. Part of that is like the nature of the act I'm taking. Part of that is just the fact that this is a terrifying situation and I'm sort of singing through my terror. But I think I am curled up in a dark space with my hands around my knees and my voice pitched to echo. And I am pushing all of my effort into remembering this place as it was and the safety I felt here, the safety that is missing.
And I think as the beast bursts into your little cubby space, um, you know, it slowly calms down and like the snorts start to slow and the panting just kind of like, hitches and hesitates and then calms down completely. I think you will see the features also slow down and calm. So the snout starts to recede, the tusks go in, the hair starts to get longer and less matted, and more human-like. And you see that the chain around the beast's neck is actually a chain. It's keeping them held with this pendant which has like swirling black streaks across it as if in a curse. And you see a handsome young man singing this old song that even he remembers. And maybe it's somebody that you remember, like, one of the minor princes from another realm or something. But yeah, that's what he truly looks like as he calmly sings the songs with you. And it doesn't last for very long, I will say. I mean, like, he reverts back to the beast after the song is mostly done. But he is calm, but he will follow.
Mm-hmm.
He will follow you. So your condition is uh, beast in tow.
Okay.
Okay. And Vero, what are you doing? I mean, this is all in the initial, bursting of water. Like everybody got separated because the Great Hall is flooding and bodies are strewn about, and the beast is still in its rampage before it hears Teodan's song. What are you doing?
Yeah. I think Vero is out of here. Vero is running. Vero has taken has taken the distraction to opportunistically get out of here. Um, and I guess if I was to angle for anything like specific, like probably look like running to the place where he knows is like the narrowest set of stairs to
Mhm.
try to like get somewhere where like he can't be followed.
Okay, okay. And now are you going up or trying to get out?
Oh, up.
Because if you're trying to get out, I'm gonna say that if you took that plate that reminds you of the morning night, then the item will sing from your backpack.
Okay.
And it's the
Yeah, I think
princess's voice. It's the princess's voice that you hear. You remember this voice. You think about that every time you have that memory of her at the window. And you can hear her voice, and it's saying, "Come find me. Come wake me. Come love me." Getting to her means you get what you want.
yeah. And I mean, yeah, definitely not leaving if that's happening, right? So, yeah, trying to go up, not out.
Okay. All right. So, but upon hearing that, I'm sure it throws you into a different kind of dream or vision. So I want you to make a ruin roll, please.
Absolutely. All right.
Wow, you are a lucky son of a gun, I swear. You rolled a 1 dark, and so your ruin does not go up. I mean, wow, you must be really in love with the princess. That's all I
I
gotta
guess so.
say.
I guess
Holy
so.
crap. Oh my god. We're just gonna buzz through this. So therefore, to the closing scene of this, somehow you all find a set of circular stairs leading up to the still upright turret. The princess awaits. The view is from below, looking up. The hunters all came to the tower at the same time, and yet we see each of you at a different level of the staircase spiraling upward, calling out in desperation to the loved one you will not disappoint. Whether that be the princess or the ones that you think of at home, that is only for you to know. And we close out of ring 4. Ring 5. The lovely Somnolent. You all get to the princess's room. Here she sleeps. You see her prostrate form bedecked in a finery befitting her station. It is as she is only sleeping. She is as she was 10 years ago. She has not aged since her 21st birthday when the curse took hold. A jarring light suddenly changes the atmosphere, as the single window in this well-appointed room shows the dawn shining in, but it smiles a sinister light, a red as if it would burn blood in the dark sky. You blink, oblivious of anyone else in the room except her unconscious form as you approach her bed. You have traveled so far and been through so much to come to me. What do you offer in order to wake me from this cursed dream? Her voice murmurs into your ear alone. It is you, always has been you alone to save me, no one else. Don't let anyone else take this opportunity from you. What do you see as you enter this room? Again, you can only see her on the bed and hear her voice in your ear. What do you see in a vision? What does it mean if you would fail here, right now? What do you see if you would fail?
That's a question you want an answer to, right, Matt?
I'm sorry?
That's a question you want an answer to?
Yes.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. So for Vero, I think he sees being chased from this place by the beast, and like in a similar fashion to being escorted from the castle like before. But like running and running and running and across the bridge and through the brambles, and like as he's running, like whether it's the beast like reaching from behind and like clawing strips of flesh from his back, or through the brambles having like his clothes and body torn. He has this overwhelming feeling that like by the time by the like the failure is represented by that, right? And then like if he makes it out or if he fails, it'll be like at the cost of everything, right? Like he'll be torn apart from the outside.
Okay.
I think Teodan sees himself twisted into some sort of spindly servitor with overlong legs, like insectoid or bramble-like, with a chain around his own neck. A slave to this place, a slave to the curse of this place, like the others who have, like the others that the curse has betrayed.
I think what Fion sees is the clockwork princess, right? You can tell that she is a clockwork, you know what to look for. And he knows he has to find the key to either wind her up or wind her down, because otherwise she will do what automatons do. She will rise up and fling him from the parapet, or no, she will rise up and insist that she's his betrothed and that he has to follow through with this. He has to become her husband and sit on a throne beside her.
I think you never noticed it until now. Again, you can't see each other. You can only see the princess. But at the side of her bed, there are ritual implements: a dagger, a lit candle, a length of rope, and a vial of poison. And then you rise, you see, now with clear eyes, that perhaps the one that you were warned about is right in front of you. What do you want to do? Vero, you see Teodan getting ready to approach the princess. Teodan, perhaps you see Fion as well on the opposite side of the bed doing the same. And Fion, Vero, is approaching the bed with the petition for the princess to awaken. Or more than that. Who knows? But what do you do in this moment? The princess said, "It has always been you alone to save me. No one else. Don't let anyone else take this opportunity away from you." What do you do? Basically, we're going to be doing like essentially a three-way contest roll in the interest of time. But I'm just interested to find out like how you want to go against each other. The stakes are, only one. Only one can succeed.
I want to yell out to Vero, like, stand back. This is a trap. She's lying. She just wants to make you into an automaton like she is herself. Can't you see that, you fool? Or are you, in fact, an automaton yourself?
Vera, I don't think you hear that. You don't hear basically what you hear, you can see Fion talking to you, but you hear something like, "She's mine, you'll never have her, she's my betrothed, blah, blah, blah." So.
Right. Yeah, and I think Vero has made like strong moves to get as close to her as possible. And
And you
She's my
see,
only chance.
right. And
She's my
but you
only
see,
chance.
right, but you see like, maybe you don't see Teodan making the approach either. But yeah.
I think
Yeah.
Teodan is going to Teodan. I'm not sure what this looks like literally,
Hmm.
but Teodan through is going to try and encourage Fion into folly. Fion is a conqueror to this castle. He is the way has opened to him reaching this space. He is at the cusp of fulfilling his rights and obligations. And I'm just going to try and gas him up into him making a catastrophic mistake and fulfilling the narrative, a narrative in the tower that he does not intend.
Okay. So how are you doing that?
That's a good question. Um, I mean,
Yeah.
I could also, I could, if we wanted to go for something easier, I could actively lie to Fion about how I think he should proceed. I use my knowledge of rituals and the objects that would be used to wake the somnolent to try and encourage Fion to make a mistake in his search, to give him false advice.
Okay, so basically you're trying to work your ritual on him.
Not necessarily emote, but I mean, emote would certainly help. Yeah, yeah. So yes, heighten Fion's sense of hubris, and try and encourage him into something that appears to be a trap. Like, if I can perceive something in this space that is a trap for an unwary, like an improper piece of the ritual, or something that is meant to bind or ensnare.
There's a there's a vial of poison standing around, right?
Yeah.
You could use your ability with illusions to maybe create something that would make me like reach for that.
Ooh,
Okay.
nice. Okay. All right. So stakes are basically like, only one of you can waken the princess and, get the kingdom and such, right?
Yeah.
And get what you want. So Teodan's working against Fion. Fion, are you working actively against Vero?
Yes, I mean he isn't reacting to my words, so I think he is another of these automatons,
Okay.
and I will try to shove him physically maybe away or turn him off. Like,
Oh,
I
okay.
mean, it's just an automaton, right? It's not like I'm trying to murder somebody.
At least that's what you think. Okay, okay. All right. So basically, like acting like in melee or whatever. I mean, like, you can say you have whatever weapon you want, or snatch up one of the ritual things, what have you. And then Vera, are you? I mean, I know you're in defense of the princess, but are you like actively going to work against uh Fion or Teodan?
Yeah. I think turning to them with like weapons drawn, being like, she's mine, right?
Oh,
And
yeah.
so,
Got
yeah,
it.
definitely trying
Okay.
to like stay
Okay.
away. Yeah.
Okay.
Presumably, if you're uh, Vero, if you are actively threatening Fion and myself with weapons, I think I am supporting Fion against you in preparation for serially backstabbing Fion.
Okay. Well, I mean, like that's what we're doing with the contest roll, okay? And depending on who wins, that's the person who will essentially get off their move first, okay?
Mm.
And then like, cascading down from there. Now, here's the thing. To build the contest roll, so like you just carefully listen. we're gonna do the contest on here, but and then of course Sabine, like you're building your die roll like where you are. Okay. You take 1 light die if you have a skill from your occupation, background, or a useful piece of equipment that you're going to use. So if you're going to use a weapon, you got a weapon. It's fine. I mean, I'm perfectly happy with that. So you get that 1 light die. Then for every point of ruin that you have, you get a light die. So for instance, Fion gets 5 light die because of their 4 ruin plus the first light die. Okay. And they go from there. So build your light die pool. All right. Then, this is all inherently dangerous. You are all acting against each other. You got weapons drawn, or you're going to be acting with a ritual, which again is very dangerous to use as well. So you get that first dark die. Now, you can add as many dark die as you want to the first. But remember that for every 1 dark die that you get, you add a point of ruin to your count already. All right. So again, as many dark die as you want to try and succeed. Right. We're going for whoever gets the most 6s first. If there's an event of the tie, we go down to 5s. If there's an event of a tie, we go down to 4s, and so on and so forth until we have a clear winner. All right. So
Can you help me out with you said for every dark die that I use, I get a point of ruin.
No.
So
if for every
okay.
dark die that comes up a 1.
Oh, okay, that's fine.
That's
That's
one.
fine.
Oh, that's very different. Okay.
Yeah, very
Yeah.
different. Sorry.
Yeah.
Hold on, let me just double check myself against the thingy.
And it's not higher than
Contest.
your equal or higher to your current ruin value.
No. It has nothing to do with like what your current being higher or lower than your current ruin. It depends on for every dark die that comes up a 1. You mark 1. You add 1 ruin to your total, your current total. Okay. So this is very careful, right? Like you want to succeed, however, you don't want to succeed too hard because you may get lost to the environment. I have seen this. They've won, but they've gotten lost to the environment with too much ruin. Yeah, it's very possible. And then the last time I did it, it's like nobody got fully ruined, which was amazing. They hung out at 5. I was like, oh my God. But we did have a clear winner in that case. So anyway. All right, so again, build your die pool. Like so, Sabine, you would have 5 light die, and then however many dark die you want to
I have
roll against.
4 lying around here, so I'm gonna use them all.
Okay. All right. You don't have to tell me to roll. How many you're rolling? Yeah. Sorry. But since Sabine disclosed, I mean, like, yeah, you guys are welcome to tell me how many.
Oh, right, I gave you one in my hand, right? Oh, it's fine. It's fine.
All right, I'm gonna flip a coin to determine whether I heard you or not.
Again, so for those of you using the dice roller, you're gonna go into the contest roll. Again, put in your light die, and then add as many dark die as you want. Since Sabine disclosed, you're welcome to disclose your dark die too.
I am rolling fewer than 4 dark dice because I did not get a chance to edit my number.
Okay. You can still change it if you want.
I'm okay.
Okay. Casey, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm just thinking about the probability of if I roll.
I mean, you're pretty safe. I mean,
no, I know that's the thing, right? Is like how far can I push it, right? Because like if I roll 6 dice, how many are going to come up 1s? Yeah. So I think I'm going big. I'm going to roll 5 dark.
Okay. All right. So again, build your light, build your dark. Ready, and everybody roll.
I am making my. I know how many dice I'm rolling. I am making sure this thing knows what my name is.
Okay. So. Right. So far, Vero has won with 2 6s.
Holy cow!
Fion.
I also have 2 6s.
Oh boy. Okay. Now we go down to 5s. Do you have any 5s?
1.
Okay. So. Ooh, okay. All right, so let me see. Hold on. Vero with 2 6s. Okay. And then Fion with 2 6s. And then you have 1 5. Yeah, Fion?
Yeah.
Okay, so it looks like by the virtue of the 5s, Fion has 1. Okay. and then Vero with the other 2 6s, and then Teodan. I'm sorry. Okay, the 2 5s. Okay, so the way this works is that Fion will go last. As well, actually, you know what? No, you get to go first because you've succeeded. You're able to get off whatever move that you're trying to do first, right? And then we will have each of you go narratively in order of descending win, if that makes any sense. All right, so this is the ending. This is the contest roll. This is your immediate action in this moment against each other. So Fion won, then Vero, then Teodan. Okay, and any ones. So Vero, you rise by 1 ruin. Teodan doesn't have any extra ruin. Fion? No?
Me neither. I rolled 2 ones on the light dice, so
Oh,
that doesn't matter, right?
No, yeah.
Cool.
No extra ruin. Amazing. Oh my god.
Ah,
Wow. Okay.
I'm a little disappointed.
I know, me too. I'm just like, oh, come on now. All right. So, y'all fine. Like, nobody's, well, I mean, like, if you're murdered, then you're murdered. But, I mean, we'll see how this goes. Right now, immediate who won what, and then we will go into epilogues, okay? So, Fion, please describe your action against Vero. Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's an automaton. I'm trying to turn him off with my lance, with my spear, by poking him. I mean, it's not a deadly attack, right? He's just an automaton. It's not a murder. It's not. I think maybe I should get some ruin for that, but we'll see.
Yeah. So.
Do I roll that? Yes.
No. Well,
No?
I mean, no, because I mean, like, it's already ruled out by your
Okay.
But I think maybe you remember this. Maybe you remember this Vero as being the perceived cowardly bodyguard that got to leave before the curse went into effect. Maybe you feel justified by killing him. So.
Not. Oh no, I think he's an automaton. He's that no. I want
See,
that.
you poke it with his lance and he stops moving.
Yeah,
You turned him
exactly.
off.
That just like an automaton. I will take a point of ruin because this is firmly what I want to believe.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Vero, it's like, you're run through with this lance, but you do succeed because your action was against Fion or Teodan. I'm sorry. It's like it's like losing track of like who's against whom.
Right. I think.
Because I know you were in defense of the princess, but
Right.
Yeah, it was a 2-on-1.
Mm,
Round 1 was a 2-on-1, and I don't get to make it to round 2, unfortunately.
yeah, maybe in your efforts to defend against the other two, maybe like this is where you skewer Teodan. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
There is a song on my lips, and you can feel in my words, you can feel the energy draining from your bones, and that is an immediate threat.
Yeah. Then I'm definitely gonna swing the hammer at Teodan.
Yeah.
And I think as potent as Theoden's, as potent as all of Theoden's social skills were, he is not hammer proof at all.
No. And to Fion, as you spill this, well, blood that you believe to be the automaton, and Vero goes down, who then also takes down Teodan. You hear, "You've won. Now come and see your reward." She's whispering as she wakes and brings you to the window. You can't look away. The red sun burns itself into your eyes. Do you see yourself worthy of a princess of the clockwork? See your reward. May it burn in your vision as I will burn my way into your heart.
I think you can see a expression of utter horror on Fion's face as he stares into the red sun, hoping against hope that it's strong enough to burn out his eyes.
And that's where we end the lovely Somnolent.
Can I throw in a quick epilogue note?
Absolutely. Oh yes, everybody gets an epilogue too if you want. If you've died, how the world goes on without you, or affected since your death. If you've survived, how you are changed, forever changed from your experience. Okay. So yes, if you have something ready, please by all means.
I will say that sometime later, after the blood has cooled and whatever has happened with Fion has progressed, the beast lumbers into the room and picks up Teodan's body and carries his body away as a keepsake and a memento.
I think as the beast is lumbering by, gently carrying Teodan's corpse or remains, we see on the dais where the thrones were, you can see Fion sit there, and there is a chain around his wrist. He's chained to the throne. His eyes are blind, and he's gnashing his teeth, and you can almost see him becoming the next beast.
I think we see another hunter sitting at the table and eating from the eating from the table, and Vero steps up and puts his hand on his shoulder and says, "You're close. You're on the right path."
Oh, and now's the end of the lovely Somnolent. Oh my God! Thank you guys. Woo!
Holy crap!
Oh, stars and wishes.
Well
Stars and
done,
wishes.
well done.
Oh gosh.
Woo!
Oh, that is so exciting. Oh my God. Yeah, so stars and wishes, you know how this works. It's like, gameplay, role play each other. And then wishes, it's like, again, one shot. But I mean, like, if you wish that it had gone in a different direction, or if there's like something that you wish that you would have seen, right? Or like, any feedback from me, if you want to do that separately outside of stars and wishes, that's fine too. Okay. So I'm just going to say it. Stars for all of you. These characters were amazing. And the endings and the epilogue. Oh my God. Oh, all the way through. Everybody did such a fantastic job. And, for you trophy newbies, excellent, excellent, excellent work. I mean, like, you really fell into the vibe. You really were, like, immersed in it, invested in your characters. And it was just so wonderful to see. Oh my gosh. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So good. I hope you enjoyed this first experience with the gameplay. Oh my God. Yep. So, and really wishes is just like, like to refine this a little bit more. So this way I can expand it into a 2-shot so I can have the full table of 4. Because it's really, it would have been really tough if I did have the full 4, then you guys wouldn't have been able to do as much as you did. So I would have needed to do a 2-shot for that for sure. But I will develop it and expand it a little bit more. So, the way it was great for doing the 1-shot, but I think I wish to just make sure it's beefy enough to handle a 2-shot. to make sure everybody's got like, the richness of the character, like the prompts that they can answer and all this kind of stuff. So, all right. Fantastic job, everyone. Oh my gosh. Who wants to go next?
I can go next. Stars to you for running this, and for the epic narration we got from you. That you have this kind of voice where you're like, oh, this is beautiful voice, but the content of what you're saying is so horrifying. So that's a nice little that's a nice contrast. And I loved Teodan and I loved Vero. Both I especially liked how Teodan leaned into the rituals and into being more of a social character. And then this blacksmith bear guy who really didn't even understand why he had been kicked out. That was also amazing. Yeah, and I like the whole thing with the go and kiss the princess. I like the incursion's theme. I like the incursion. I'm not sure what the theme was, but
I
I
don't know
liked
either.
it. Yeah. I for a wish, I wish the conditions had a little bit more of a bite, to be honest.
Yeah.
Right, because they were there, but yeah, but still it was fantastic. And since we are only playing a one shot, that is maybe a good thing. So yeah, I'm not entirely sure if I'm so happy with my dice because they rolled terribly well and I didn't get any ruin from that, so no need to reduce it. Okay then. Yeah, but still a fantastic session, and haven't been played trophy in a while, and this was a really lovely comeback to that game. So thank you.
Thank you.
I would say Mads a second star for your narration. I loved the sort of fairy tale. I love the fairy tale lilt to it, except for the fact that everything had teeth. You know, you had a bit of Beauty and the Beast in there with the prince, the prince who'd been turned in. The fact that the fact that you sort of touched on Beauty and the Beast a little bit, with the Beast being a former prince ensorcelled. That was I thought there was a lot of fun pathos there. The epilogue sequence, the final tumult in the epilogue sequence just sort of blew the doors off my brain. Sabine, I'm just going to turn off this automaton with my lance, and I'm taking a ruin because this is what I fervently believe in my heart, was a delightful choice. And Casey, your last epilogue note of being the hand on the next shoulder was just perfect. That was perfection. I feel like we really stuck the landing, and that was delightful. As a wish, I would be very interested to see what this looks like for 2 sessions. I imagine that there'd be a bit more of a ramp up, and
Yes.
it wouldn't go straight to end game PvP at the end. I mean, I'm assuming we would end up there, but it would be like that would build more over the last few chapters.
Right. I mean, like, 'cause it could be something that happens, like, in the lead up into the room. Like, it wouldn't necessarily happen in the room itself because it is a little bit of a tumult because, having the three of you go at it, like, you're seeing what you see first, concentrating on the princess and such. But then, like, all three of you going at once, it's like, it's just a little bit messed up. So, I mean, yeah, if you had like a little bit more breathing room, I think it would be easier to keep you guys separated, but then kind of meet each other one on one and then really get the beef out of the contest rolls. And that's how I usually try to run it. But again, constraints of time, and I wanted to make sure that we got to that big ending and then see who won. Jeez.
I think
Oh,
something that
man.
really helped with that was chapter 3, where everyone was encouraged to eat their fill and then twisted at an arrow at another player. I thought that was a nice story beat.
I enjoy that part so much. I'm just like, yes, because that is built into the game. If you look at the character keeper, it's like, and you look at the rings, you hover over each of the rings. It's like there is like the theme of the terror and the theme of the temptations that exist in every ring, and it's like it's very fun to try and interpret that in the writing and then in the play and the narration of it, because it's like, also try to harken back to that internal, like, sub theming basically. Although I still can't figure out like what I want to call the theme of this thing. So who knows? I don't know.
True
Is
romance.
is
I'm
that
sorry?
True romance.
True.
Probably not.
I don't think so, but okay.
I was curious about that. The terrors and temptations that are associated with the rings, are those baked into the base game, or are they per
Yeah.
incursion?
No. It's, well, I mean, like each one is different for each incursion, but yes, the structure is the same. 5 rings. Each ring, you must go through 1 terror and 1 temptation. At least 1 of each before you move on to the next.
But not every incursion has ring 5 psychological terror, companion's
Well,
possession.
yeah, it does, but I mean, like, not everybody reaches ring 5.
And it's kind of a little different always, but the rings have themes. The first is like an introduction. The second is like something with the environment, and
Yeah.
I don't know what the third and fourth.
Third is suspicion, for definite sure.
Yes, exactly.
Sowing
exactly.
suspicion.
Yes, yes, you did that very well.
And thank you. And like in the book itself, there is a section called the anatomy of an incursion. So I mean, I was going by those notes as well, because it's like, I've played a lot of trophy and I've run a lot of trophy, but I mean, sometimes it's like I just can't go by vibes alone. So need a little guide there to just kind of, know where to push the buttons. So yeah. Oh my gosh, so great, guys, did so good. Casey?
Yeah, super great. Yeah, second what everyone said. And yeah, Mads, it was really good. I really liked your narration. I could tell you put a lot of thought into it, right? And like, yeah, I also find a lot of times when you write something, it should be your script, but I'm always like, oh no, I know what it is. I'll just make it, you know what I mean? But like when you write words that are that good, you should use them, right? So, yeah, and yeah, I feel like if I wanted to, I could run it tomorrow. So that says something about, I mean, your capacity and your writing, right? So, super great. Yeah. I liked it. Yeah, Sabine, you're always great at like coming in with an idea and just going like 140 miles an hour at it. And like I don't necessarily always pull that off. But like Will, you did as well. Like in that first scene, just being like, no, I'm gonna like just unmask myself as a fake thing here to like get these guys to go away was great. And I couldn't help but envision the water ritual at the table as sort of like using a spray bottle to spray a cat when they're doing something. Like, it's like that's immediately where my brain was like, oh yeah, just get it out of here. Um, yeah, and yeah, all the questions were really good, and yeah, especially the way that like you pointed us at each other. That was great, and the way that everyone kind of leaned into that, and yeah, yeah. Yeah, it was good. It was good. Thanks, Mads.
Oh, you are so welcome, you all. Oh my gosh. Thank you for your patience in playing the game, and also for, um, giving me some good feedback over this incursion. This one I've been sitting on for quite some time and getting a lot of different bits of advice, but I think, if I just relaxed, then I was able to really like get out what I wanted to get out. But it will still be worked on to expand into more beefy material for a 2-shot, because again, I mean, I would like the characters to have the chance to breathe within it, and also give it some more things in the temptations and terrors to call upon, and also give some of those conditions that could be laid out, so this way it makes it easier for the keeper to like really like throw some things in that could happen if there's mixed results / failure, to really call upon things. So
one thing I was thinking about is when you said one of you was the bodyguard, childhood friend, and the third thingy.
Yeah.
maybe it might be, I don't know, might be a good idea to preface character creation with this.
Oh, okay.
Like
Got it.
people pick that out and then create their character, because it's easier to understand where these people are, because we had a smith who was a grave robber, but then he was a bodyguard as well. And
Well, remember,
which
he
was
got dragged out, so
fine.
he had to do
Yeah.
something. So grave robbing,
Yeah.
sure, why not?
Yeah, sure. But still, I think it might work a little better with looking for the drives and stuff like that, and
Cool.
tying the characters more to these questions even before they decide who or what they were. I don't
Perfect.
know. It's just
No, I mean,
it's an
it's
idea.
very fair. I felt, you know, I mean, like, I thought about it later, like as we were doing it. I'm like, oh shit, I should have given this in advance. But to be honest, it's like I was trying to figure out how I wanted to introduce it, whether it be one question per character per ring, or if I wanted to do it this way, where you guys created your characters and I could just kind of like figure out of the setup for the connection questions, you know, who was what. Um, I mean, I'll give more choice, of course, if this is a two shot, because, you know, we just ran out of time. So I'm just like, okay,
It's fine.
questions ahead of time as part of creation. No, that makes sense. That's perfectly fine. Cool. All right, awesome. Any other feedback regarding the game and my incursion? I mean, like, you know, whatever you'd like to say.
No. You run it as a two shot, you can hit me up. I'll play. I'll do anything for a game.
Awesome. No, I mean, like, I love running trophy. In fact, I like, you know, I put down for, I'm going to be at PAX Unplugged in December, and I'm going to be running Sabine's incursion writer's retreat as one of the games that I'm offering. So
Oh, have fun. That I found that is always was more intense than the ones where you play fantasy characters.
yeah.
Because the characters are contemporary wannabe horror writers.
Mm-hmm.
If you sign
Exactly.
up with trophies, I think you're a person who will empathize with someone like that. And they're not totally horrible people. They just wanna learn how to write a horror novel, right?
Yeah, but they're gonna be experiencing a shit ton of ruin as
Yeah,
we're
well,
going. I know, I
mean,
know.
one of them might be able to write a real bestseller. Probably just the one, right? Because,
Just the one.
but
That's all.
that's the one.
That's the one, and
Perfect.
that's all you need. It's all good.
Right,
Oh,
right.
no worries. I'll probably, like, you know, throw that up on the calendar just to practice before I take it to PAX. So I can't wait. That'll be fun. Yeah.
Mads, now this is an idea, and you can tell me that I'm way out of line here,
Yeah. Yeah. Go ahead.
but have you thought of a theme for this incursion with rose? Because that
Ooh.
could be the princess's name, and you could have the roses and the thorn and then the halls and the table decorated with roses, and you can always tie that in a
I love
little.
it. Yeah, and like, you know, conditions and all this kind of stuff. I
Yeah,
love it.
yeah.
Yeah. And like, you know, because I did say a lot about scents and everything like that. So yeah,
Yeah.
I can definitely work that in. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I like it because, again, it's like, it's not something that is, um, you know, like generically part of the old tale necessarily, but I mean, like, it is something that can always be harkened back to and go and weaved
Oh,
throughout, you know,
well,
the
I mean,
incursion.
in German, the name of the Sleeping Beauty is Thorn Rose.
Oh, okay.
That's the name of the fairy tale.
Oh.
It's
Well, I mean, I know. Yeah.
just saying that it's and I don't know if this is originally a German fairy tale, but I
I think
think
so. I think
so.
it's.
I think so.
so.
So
I think it's in the Brothers Grimm. It's like, I
yeah,
think
it's in
it's
the
written
Brothers
as
Grimm,
it's
definitely.
written as Briar Rose. So yeah, I have to go back and
Yeah,
reread
exactly.
it,
See,
but I will.
there you
But
are.
thank you. Yeah, definitely. Oh, thank you. I love feedback. Thank you guys so much. Oh my gosh. Oh, there's not much of Shared Hearth left, but if you are still playing, I hope you have a wonderful time. I mean, like, I'll be at the debrief, like, you know, at 6 p.m. Eastern time, you know, whatever it translates to be, you know, for European and then for West Coast and such. So hopefully I'll see you there, even for just a little bit. And then I wish you happy gaming for, like, you know, whatever you're doing from here on out. And hopefully we will get to play again. All right.
Yeah.
If you haven't already hit me up on Discord, please give me your Discord handle, because I'll I'll friend you, and hopefully
Mhm.
we'll keep in contact and such. Okay.
Cool.
So I will
Okay.
see you later.
Cool.
Thank you guys so
Sounds
much.
good.
Oh my God.
See ya.
Bye.
Okay,
Thank you
thanks
so
for
much.
running.
Thank you.
Bye.